Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ dhammāṃ saṅghāṃ namasāmi. So in retreat we have the opportunity, encouragement to cultivate samvara, translated as restraint or collecting energies. So normally our energies will be moving out to deal with the many tasks and complexities, interactions, future possibilities, planning, and so forth, and the often highly fluctuating circumstances that occur in a monastery, which is all, that which one does with goodwill and energy, and for the welfare of the monastery, for those who come later, and for those who come. So we have a good situation. And then we have a chance to just enjoy the harvest of that. So, having done many things, prepared, tidied up, checked in with each other, cleared any difficulties, and kind of resting back. So, samvara. Resting back, collecting, gathering, restraining. So when every day is very similar to the next, that definitely restrains a sense of time, which can be an unspoken or alluded to factor in our lives, which becomes more than just an idea. It becomes a whole nervous energy driving on the next. What about if? And the next. And then in the future. And then the next. And this done by before the bell goes. And then this. And then, it becomes a kind of an input in a nervous system. So the nervous system is just moving on. And the citta, the heart, which is tuned into that, is also moving on. And sometimes it's the fact that the citta is moving on precedes it. The citta tends to move on. It's called bhava, becoming something, going somewhere, planning a future, creating solidities in the future. That can almost generate things to do that don't need to be done. We just do them because we want to feel we're progressing or busy. It becomes addictive. And so then really restraining that, which is often, when you change gear, there's often a disorientation. Difficult to kind of stay steady when suddenly the momentum drops, and chatting and doing, and restraining the indriya, the outgoing faculties, restraining in terms of patimokkha, restraining in terms of our actions, restraining in terms of what we use, what we make use of. Simplifying, and cultivate it in a very broad way, and you understand what you're doing. And it's not an external, obviously it's an external form to it, it's an internal form, where we take responsibility to, can I collect, can I rest back? You think of restraining as a kind of resting rather than a throttling. and we need something to rest back into. So here, mindfulness of body becomes exceptionally helpful, where you can find it making a good platform, a good basis, a good couch to rest on. Make it comfortable, make it steady, make it ample, don't make it full. This is to be cultivated. So restraining bodily activity, but of course we're not ceasing bodily activity, we're just collecting it. Simple things. And this allows us to develop body. So mindfulness immersed in the body, kaya gata sati, immersed in it. So it's not just a point or a series of points, it's a whole domain, territory. Think of it like a couch or a place you can rest in. So when you make it ample, big, spacious, buoyant, but firmly supported, this is cultivation. It can be the case that we meditate focusing on particular points, but by and large we don't see any mention of this in the suttas. In fact, the encouragement is to be with the whole body as an entity, standing, sitting, walking, reclining, stretching, leaning, whatever one does, whole body. So it's a rather ample area. And that allows us to experience body in a number of ways. Kaya kaye, body in terms of the body, not in terms of what we think about it, or even customary attitudes. So customary attitude often gives a huge amount of emphasis to the head or the face. Well, that's only a small zone and it's not particularly relevant. More important is the torso, but perhaps even more important is just the wholeness, because with the wholeness we get a feeling of some living creature with its energies running through, its tensions and spaces and softness and heat. And the citta tunes into that. It's immersed in it. So you can scan the entirety, and the simplest way we do that is using citta operates the organ of attention, manasikara, and uses it to scan from the top to the bottom of the body that we see. And then we can recollect bones, sinews, organs, fluids. Something that takes away the personality. It's kind of bodies don't have personalities, they're just bodies. Face is really a set of muscles, not really a person at all. There's no person in the face, it's just the one we tend to familiarise. Feel the muscles, and then you feel the muscles, what would make it more comfortable is to relax those muscles that you don't need. Particularly the face and the hands, which get a lot of action. And you do that, you change the energies. When you release muscles, they change, energies change. It's a calming, less tense, less tough, less stressed. And you cultivate that, you learn to release around the arms, diaphragm. fingers, belly. So the breathing becomes soft and full and deep. When you begin to cultivate like that, you just use just the minimal muscle that you need, which is often the lower back when you sit. That's the center. When you walk, it's the pelvis swinging, the legs coming out. Allow the upper body thing relax. Standing, just poising. So you just use your feet and your sense of balance. And you can relax a lot while you're standing up. Just enough to hold the body into balance. Reclining, you can relax most everything. Point is relaxation, but maintaining attentiveness. Different postures have different qualities, bring different qualities to the fore. They're all useful. Sitting, because you've got a very, if you use it carefully, you've got a very broad base to sit on. The legs, chair, cushion, knees, and then the back, the lower back coming out of that. It is a great place for breathing. Optimal for breathing meditation, because you really don't need the legs. They're there as a basis. So it really emphasizes the torso. Standing is very good for maintaining whole body balance from the soles of the feet to the top of the head. And that brings you in touch with the center, the axis that runs through the body. And balancing. How does the body balance? It doesn't fall over. How does it do that? And of course you can't think balance, but your body can feel it. Even tiny little shifts, you'll recognize that's balance. Imbalance means some degree of stress. And balance is when the stress ceases. And you feel kind of a sense of whole body present, poised. And this reminds you that the body has intelligence, because you can't work out how to balance. You can set up the conditions, and then you've got to trust the body to adjust itself. Well, the body's intelligent. Not just the meat, it's intelligent. Walking, how do you walk without falling over? Because the body knows what it's doing. How you can move momentarily, or just wait till your body being carried on one foot, the other leg swinging lightly through the air. Very few people fall over. How does the body know how to do that? Because it knows how to coordinate the weight and the body being used to counterbalance, so the shoulder recoiling tends to counterbalance the leg swinging forward. You don't fall over. Remember, walking is a whole body experience. It's not just something only your feet do. Feet don't walk. They're part of it. Mostly walking is a pelvis swinging, legs trailing forward, the weight descending, the body. So the whole thing coordinating. And that sense of coordination and fluidity is the great blessing of walking meditation. Coordination, everything flowing together, coordinating. And rhythmic. It's a rhythmic sense. So for this we have to counteract our tendency to use walking as a way of getting somewhere. So generally walking meditation, you cut off getting anywhere. You use a particular path, 25, 15, 30, 10, so you're not going anywhere. Of course, mind can get very frustrated because it's so used to going somewhere or pointing in a particular direction. So you soften the eyes. You cut out the sense of a narrow focus. You soften the eyes, so you're not looking at a particular point to get through. When you soften your eyes, distance disappears. So we begin to dismantle the sense of distance. Time, we're beginning to change that. We're moving from time as sequential to time as rhythm. Process which is calming, comforting, steadying. Time is not going forward, but just going round and round and round. Rhythmic time, body time, breathing in, breathing out. Rhythmic. Rhythm is soothing, comforting, attractive. The citta attunes to rhythm. It feels carried by it. When we're moving forward in time, the citta is thrown forward. When you're rotating in time, the citta is gently turned over and over again, and the rough edges and the jerkiness and the stagnation drop away into something smooth. This is how we develop body to develop citta, develop the heart. Reclining either on your back or on one side. Try to keep your attention from the soles of your feet to the top of your head, one single unit, and be with the breathing. Feeling the body resting on the ground, body sinking in the ground on the out-breath and rising into space, with the inhalation expanding, subsiding, rhythmic. Is that just... Then you begin to sense the body as elements, not as a person at all, but just qualities of solidity, earth, warmth, fire, cohesiveness, water, rhythmic movement, air. These elements playing. Then we begin to experience body in terms of rupa. Kaya becomes rupa. It's a living, but rupa means shape or form, and now we're in a living form. We don't know what it's like to be in a dead body. So we're always meditating in a living body. Living body, rupa, is shifting all the time. Shifting from moving, shifting from stability, shifting from earth, fluctuating, fluid, earth, water, warmth, shifting, air. Just this flow of elements mingling and merging. When you cultivate that, there's nobody in that. So it's a way of eliminating or abandoning what's not needed, which is the self, the person controlling it, person directing it, person trying to make it this way or that way, person stuck inside it, the person anxious about it, person feeling self-conscious about it, the person comparing themselves to other persons, the person comparing themselves to their outward appearance, person thinking about what they should be or could be, person trying to meditate, wondering why they can't concentrate. So this person is a real pain. That's all it is. It's just pain dressed up. Dukkha, wearing masks and clothes, You really don't need that. You don't need an identity to walk up and down. You just need a body. And there's something it's just not, but there's something is actually brought in, which instead of this kind of rather fretful, busy creature, person, something else comes in, life, living rupa. Something that actually is rather, when you cultivate it, manage it, is rather pleasing. And the Buddha definitely recommended pleasure. Saying, I teach pleasure. Which was an astonishing thing for a recluse to say. The Buddha often would drop these bombshells. Think, what? But in this very body we can experience pleasures. And he said, well, you have the three kinds of pleasant feeling. Well, it's actually something like two, but it subdivides into three. Samisa, pleasure associated with sensuality, flesh, which stimulates, sense contact, stimulates, external. Because the problem with that, it's not only is it rapid, but it draws us out. It gets the chitta, gets excited and moves out to the object of sense contact. And of course it's fleeting, and of course it's dependent. You can't be warm all the time. You can't, you can't have fragrance all the time. You can't have enjoyable sights all the time. You can't be free from physical discomfort all the time. You can make a good effort, but basically samisa is not the best base of feeling. But it's not the only one. So it's not we're trying to, say we shouldn't feel anything, but the Buddha's saying there's a higher, more rich, rewarding basis for feeling than this. It's niramisa. Niramisa means that which is not conjoined with the senses, and this is associated with the internal body experience of cohesiveness, or rhythm, flow, and settling into all that, breathing in, breathing out, settling into all that, cultivating. You cultivate pleasure. The saying is that a skilled practitioner is someone who cultivates their own pleasure, independent of the world. You take away the rough edges, the jerking, speed, the stagnation. You clear up the brightness. You clear up and amplify and dwell in the brightness in this very body. And this leads to the absorbing into that. You cultivate what arises as a quality of gladness, certain bright vitality, rapture, ease, comfort. Niramisa. And citta picks that up. So in the citta, the heart picks up these qualities, it picks up these internal qualities, because this is its home base. The home base of citta is associated with the aggregates. Rupa, aggregate. Sensuality, not really. Citta always experiences not the senses directly, but impressions of the senses. Sanya, Vedana. When we come into rupa, body as changing form, we're getting very close to how the citta experiences things. Doesn't really experience 10 o'clock or Tuesday. Experiences pressure, ease, stability, stillness, agitation, disturbances. And rupa, you can experience those in rupa, the bodily form internally. And in fact, a lot of meditation is just about clearing, managing the internal stresses and agitations and tension that get the citta feels, and it gets embedded in the body internally. We feel jittery, jumpy. We feel tense. We feel heavy. We feel contracted. We feel stagnant and dull. And you can't think your way out of it. Thinking mind, manas, can't do it. So we go into this body and extend to the whole body, wholeness of it, widening, extending on the span of awareness. And things begin to link up. The axis, the breathing, energy flows through, slowly, steadily. Make the effort. It's not going to happen in a minute. You make the effort and it will clear. Standing, not just sitting. Standing, you may benefit from that. Walking, reclining, you have this range of possibilities. And then it becomes flattened, released. Samisa, niramisa. That pleasure is something that's recommended as an abiding place, because it leads on to niramisatara. Niramisatara is the even more, which is the pleasure of freedom, pleasure of discernment, pleasure of detachment, and pleasure of release, ease, release, coolness, space, deliverance. But generally the trajectory is through the sense, the external sense, restraining, so the external senses are not things you're going out to, internal sense base, the body internally, its energies, its heat, its tension, its spaciousness, breathing, and giving it the time and the basis to clear itself in this very body. As the saying is that just as one can, with your own awareness, you can bring to mind the entire ocean, and that can encompass all the rivers and streams that flow into it. So if you encompass with your mind, with your citta, with your heart, with awareness, the body, mindfulness of body, all states that are skillful and supportive to liberation will arise in that. You do not touch the deathless without mindfulness of body. The deathless is lost on those who don't experience fully developed mindfulness of body. And the word that's used here is pussati, touched. So this is much more than just an observation. It's a very direct feeling it out. As if you're moving around inside that territory, sampling it, handling it. How does it feel? You're committed to that. It's a very deep commitment, because for lifespan you are committed. Not just a kind of period of half an hour. You're committed. Yeah. was this story, anecdote, this, I think she was a tennis champion, world tennis champion. And they interviewed her and said, how did you get so good? She says, because I'm committed. Some people are just involved with tennis, I'm committed. I said, what's the difference between involved and committed? And she said, well, like you take bacon and eggs. With eggs, the chicken's involved. With bacon, the pig is committed. I'm committed. So, all of it. The rind, the meat, the gristle, fat and lean. But then we're actually smoothing out that. Now, of course, the physical body does have different textures to it, hard, soft. When you get into experiencing the energies in the body, which can be speedy or obsessive, hot, you want to touch into energies in the body and widen your awareness to include the whole body, so the energies of the body find their proper span and settle. A lot of the time energies are up in the head, because that's the dominant area that we use, that we look at, that we consider, and we tend to lead our lives from our heads. Definitely that and we speak a lot, so we speak, this puts energy into the face. And when you're refraining from speaking, you're not thinking, try to understand concentration. It's called Cittaviveka, which means unification with regards, one-pointedness with regards to the heart. So this is not a point of attention on the body, this is a point of having one purpose, one sense of dedication. This ekaggata, purposeful, one theme. The Buddha himself said, when I was contemplating, still practicing as an ascetic, doing this and doing that, I just began to reflect upon, the burdens of my life and, the household life, and I don't want all this. It became one-pointed. It was really a sense of having a determined sense of purpose. Our purpose here is collecting, using this body to draw our energies inwardly, steadily, not obsessively, not tight, contracted, nicely settled. When you have a strong centre. Strong centre is not tight or hard, but ample. And from there you can sense what's going on around you. Walking, moving through the space as it opens around you. You're not oblivious, you're not locked inside, you're centred, not throttled. Sitting, you're not stuck in your head or your nose or your belly. You feel the whole body as a breathing, living, vibrant presence. Find areas that seem tough or tight or unyielding, you bring attention to those, widen your awareness to include wider and wider areas of your body or even the space around you, to provide a channel for energy to release. So it's not throttled, strangled, tightened up, which happens. Some of this is completely unconscious, because his energies are attuned to emotional pressure, psychological and emotional events or pressures. So we get forceful. Maybe that's been something that's been required as a way of life, to working, push. And so your energies get very knotted. So therefore, sitting, widening your awareness to include the space around you, centered, breathing out, releasing. Not forcing yourself to release, just creating a template, an invitation. There's plenty of space. Space as not something distant that separates you, but something intimate, wraps around you and releases you from pressure. It's very intimate and benevolent space. You can feel it. Every time your body expands, you're breathing, you feel the space yielding. As you walk, the space opens around you. And the emotional effect of that, the psychological effect, no pressure, no hurry. Things are open. And the citta lifts, lights up with that. You dwell upon it. Of course, the dwelling upon is the function of mindfulness. Pick up the theme, body, pick up the theme, what is this body? It's not the visual body, it's not the body that we conceive of or imagine, it's not the body with a name on it, it's not the body with an identity. It's this living, warm, firm, fluid, vibrant experience. Shifting, changing, not a solid thing at all. In that fluidity, that changeability, heart, our attention as it tunes into that, learns to not hold hard, because everything is changing. And, if you hold hard, you get stiff. Tension gets stiff, you get tired, and it produces unpleasant emotions, pressure, tension, achievement, holding, insecurity, need to get it together. And the psychologies around that. When you're holding something that's fluid and changeable, it's a different kind of attention. It's like the attention of balancing a feather in your hand. Very, very attentive, but not clasping, not gripping. This is enormously helpful to use the body to support this shift of attentiveness. We're mindful, we're staying with the topic, but the topic is changing. Therefore, your attention has to be deeply receptive, less coercive. You shift from directive to receptive, and the awareness deepens, opens, becomes illuminated. We recognize something that's always been there. The light, oh yeah, there's this. Now as long as there's that clenching and holding, which is a very pernicious psychology, built, the world is like this. We hold on to our possessions, to our homes, to our relationships, to our jobs, to our positions. We hold on to our opinions, we hold on to our positions, we hold on to our, and you can't hold on. So you hold tighter, but you can't hold on, so you try to do it by holding tighter. And that psychology is such that when you because it's always slipping out of your grip, you hold something small and tight, you get obsessed with some tiny little view or opinion or way of doing something, not because it's important, but just because it gives one something to hold on to. Because the experience of holding on becomes embedded as a psychological habit that makes me feel I'm okay. I can be present, I can be here because I'm holding on. And if this habit continues, you get into old age, when actually you can't hold on very much, you're stuck on some kind of tiny little hobby or, state of the furniture or opinion and view or memory that you're stuck into some grudge or, something to hold on to generate the security that the self needs. As we know, this major shift to changeability and impermanence is a major shift because it attacks and it dismantles that psychology. You can only meditate if you don't hold on. It's not about holding on to meditation or getting concentrated. The unification of heart occurs as we release, and the heart feels itself to be open and buoyant. And this unification of heart and a dwelling in it, this is samadhi. It doesn't occlude, it's not a position, having a center within from which we can moderate our experience. And the body helps us to find a way to release that busyness, the identity, the need to be, because it gives us a foundation not so much to hold on to, but to be held by. Yes, this will carry me. Yes, I can rest in this. Yes, I can move around in this. Yes, while I'm alive, these elements will continue to play. My breathing will continue. Space is here. The earth is here. Get familiar with it. This is your abiding place. And we return to that. Just kind of really reviewing one's psychologies, one's emotional habits, the flutteringness, the agitations, the anxieties, am I good enough, how long am I going to be here for, what are they trying to do to me, why do I have to stick in this place, why do I have to do this every day, why do they ring the bell, I can't sleep, whoa, what's going on? You're not resting in your body. You're projecting insecurity and the fight to hold. Come back. Everybody gets stuck in this stuff. What's happening in your body? Move through the body, steadying, unifying, soothing, breathing, walking, calming. The world spins around you. Don't get stuck in it. And the Buddha presented this as something we can, says, sitting, standing, walking, reclining, leaning, chewing, scratching, defecating. I mean, this is not some kind of highly particular. The particularity of it is the internalization and the contemplation of it. There's the unity. Forms change, energies change, sensations change. You can span those, let them pass through. And the citta finds its balance, its center. Is there opportunity? It can be a rocky path with many surprises in it, a path that sometimes feels you lost in the fog, but your body's never lost. Return, return.